Hey everybody, I'm Aubrey Dill from aubreydrumlessons.com and welcome back to my weekly lesson. I want to continue on from what we were talking about last week in match grip. We dealt with single stroke last week. This week we're going to talk about the double stroke. Now double stroke is, as it sounds, playing two strokes per hand. Pretty simple. Now, one of the things about the double stroke rule is that often we neglect the second stroke. When we're beginning, I notice a lot of students tend to strike the first downbeat quite hard with the first stroke of the double stroke, and the second one kind of follows along like a, puppy dog or something. So we want to make sure that each stroke is played as forcefully as each other. So the second stroke must be played as strong as the first note. A way to work that out is to play the first stroke quietly, followed by the accent on the second stroke. Okay. Then once you feel comfortable with that, you increase the tempo to, let's say, 16th notes. Okay, and to give it a little more emphasis, maybe you could play 16th note triplets in that way. Okay, challenging because you're playing on a different grid, ternary grid, and you're also maintaining that accent profile. So now the thing about the double stroke, you may have noticed it as I had to play the accents at the 16th note and the the 16th note triplet rate. I started to really incorporate my fingers in order to get that second stroke to accent. So that concept remains true, especially when you play the double stroke at a faster tempo. Slower, I tend to use much less fingers and much more wrist, right? And then faster, we start to kind of bring the fingers in. You'll see this especially when I bring in another concept of the double stroke rule. That is that our mind and wrists are thinking half as fast as the doubles are actually sounding. So an old teacher of mine, Pierre Bellouse in Montreal at McGill, used to call that the movement. Focus on the movement of your wrist. That's what you're thinking about, not the speed of the actual strokes. To sort of demonstrate what I'm talking about, let's say we're going to play 16th notes, right? Check out actually the fact that my wrists are really moving in eighth notes, but I'm getting two strokes out of each stick. Right, you can see that. It's like 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Right? All right, so I'm really thinking about the eighth note, although my hands are playing two strokes per movement. Well, if you bump that up to, let's say, 16th note triplets, right? So now at that rate, I'm thinking, let's see. No. All right, so that's my movement. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1. Right? Eighth note triplets. although the movement, you're hearing 16th note triplets. Right, so let's say we bump it up to, let's say I want to play 32nd notes. All right, you see my movement? I'm thinking 16th notes. Then let's say I want to play 32nd note triplets. So that would sound like this. So I'm thinking in 60th note triplet movement. But I'm also thinking of 8th note triplet movement. By thinking like that, it gives me even more freedom over the time. I can think much slower and fill up the space. That's really helpful when you're playing slow tempos, like you saw in the intro. In fact, I believe that's the rule I used at the end of my little solo. You know, the beats 50, we're at 50 beats per minute. I was playing double time, and I opened up in the doubles, but I was thinking half as fast, first of all. So I was thinking sort of in cut time. Plus, I was thinking of the 8th note triplet, or in this case, it would be the half note triplet, right? Because the tempo was twice as fast as what the actual pulse is, at 50 beats per minute. And I was able to, you know, with the click going so slow, I was able to feel relaxed and know that I'd be able to play in time because of focusing on the lead hand. Let's say I wanted to play faster. Sixty-fourth notes. Okay, so I'm thinking I'm playing, my movement is like 32nd notes to be able to do that. And you probably noticed that I'm really using my fingers there. So the double stroke rule is a really warm sounding rule. I consider it, you know, the opposite of the single stroke. I find that the single stroke rule is a lot more machine gun-like. It's a lot more aggressive, and the kind of articulation is used in places where you really want a lot of power, I find. Double strokes tend to be a smoother sound. They fill up the space. I would equate it to a more relaxed manner. And regardless of how loud you play a double stroke roll, the texture is different. And you can tell that on the snare drum, like the way I just played the doubles. So that encompasses some of the key points of the double stroke roll. I will see you next week with the paradiddle. If you want more information on this topic and a whole lot more, click on the link below and it'll take you where you need to go. Thanks for watching my video. If you like what you saw, show a little love and hit subscribe.